Sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast. With me, as always, Shane Todd. Before we get into this episode, a couple of orders of business, starting with this. Patreon.com/Tea With Me podcast. You love the podcast, but you're the little boy in Oliver, whatever he was called, and you're saying, please sir, can I have a little bit more? Let me spoon this into your bowl. It's extra content. It's the special brew bonus episode on a Monday. It only goes out on Patreon. The live stream on a Friday. Exclusive tickets and things all before they go anywhere. Go on the Patreon. Become an official sipper today. I also need to plug the fact that I'm doing stand-up everywhere and anywhere, and maybe now Monaghan, as you'll see in this episode. Bit of an exclusive there for you. ShaneToddComedy.com will take you to the link. Don't buy tickets on social media when you see comments like... some with a very American name and face going, hey, I all of a sudden have 4 tickets to this that don't, they're scammers. Although it's Boy Cry Wolf, because one day it will be an American fan being like, I have my tickets, and I'll be like, delete this, you monster. Do stand up everywhere, ShaneToddComedy.com. We are sponsored by none other than Manscaped. I need to wait for the nod from Dan to make sure that actually is what it is this week. It's Manscaped.com. Look, they have done more for men in the 21st century than, medicine. What? Manscaped do it all. They have beauty products. And let's just call them beauty products. Don't be like, I don't use beauty products. You will be a better person inside and out after you use Manscaped. You'll be smooth. See, after you use Manscaped, you could be thrown down a bowling lane and get a strike. Smooth. You'll be like that. You'll be like a balloon. You want to be? You want to be like a balloon? Get over to manscaped.com. Use code Tea With Me for 20% off and free shipping. Look, they genuinely do have everything. We can't keep up with what the products they have are for your genital area, genitalia, whatever you... they're probably not allowed to say it anymore. World's gone mad. For that area, for your face, for your back, for your legs, for your uncle, for your life. Manscaped.com. Use code Tea With Me for 20% off, free shipping. All the links are in the description.
Give away a performance package this week.
We're going to give away a performance package, Danny. You bloody serious?
Yeah.
Whoa. What's included in that? Cool stuff from Manscaped?
Yeah, all the cool stuff.
Brilliant. If you want to win the perfect performance package...
4.0.
4.0, baby. From Manscaped. All you got... I can come up with anything here.
Within reason.
All you got to do is in the comments on YouTube for this episode... So if you're listening to audio, get over to the YouTube Tea With Me podcast, find this episode. I need you to write, my daddy doesn't love me. And we will pick someone at random who said that. We'll scroll down, then we'll just stop. We'll get in touch with you. We'll send it over to you. So you need to write, my daddy doesn't love me. The algorithm will be like, what the hell is this? Just write, my daddy doesn't love me. And we'll pick someone. Your daddy might not love you, but potential partners will. Because you'll be as smooth as a balloon, as the old phrase goes. We're also sponsored by NordVPN. Is that right, Dan?
I think it's VPN.
NordVPN, Virtual Private Network, a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. You've heard me bang on about this before. You need a VPN service that provides you with a secure, encrypted tunnel for your online traffic to flow, because you don't want to get your online traffic backed up. Nobody can see through this tunnel or get their hands on your online data, which is great because they're trying to steal your PIN number, Russia and all. If you're going on holiday this summer, Nord can get you the best, cheapest deals on flights, because here's what they do. See, when you're on Skyscanner and you say, I want to fly from Belfast to, I don't know, Zimbabwe, they go, you look at the prices, and then see if you go back on again in an hour, they know you need that flight, so they jack the prices up. Is that right, Dan?
That's what I've heard.
Airline bastards, Stelios at EasyJet and all, calling you out, bro. Stop always having your flights being cancelled and delayed, and I'll just be a better airline. NordVPN, it hides things from the airlines. Also, you can hide speaking of airlines, you can hide the location you're in. You can say, show me Netflix from, I don't know, Zimbabwe, and it will show you those Zimbabwean soaps that you crave, the Zimbabwean Hollyoaks and all, Zimbabwe Oaks. You grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/teawithme. It's in the description, for God's sake. You get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan. Every purchase to your plans will receive a bonus month on top. Oh, the cherry on the cake. Thank you. Num num num. This episode of Tea With Me features a guest making their podcast debut. She's never been on a podcast before. I don't know how. I don't know why. But this is someone who is blowing up online. Someone who is extremely good at what they do. Top of the game. Top of the lip sync game. Yeah. Kayleigh Trappe. I thought it was Trappe. It is not. I thought it was Kayleigh Trappe. It's Kayleigh Trappe. Kayleigh is a native of Monaghan. Has been putting out hilarious content for a long time. Has mimed over, if that's the right word for it, some of the clips from Tea With Me. Always funny. I don't know how she does it as well as she does it, but she does. And she's recently made the transition to sort of full-time comedy and whatever this game entails. So it's very interesting to have a chat about that. Thoroughly nice person. Going places. And if she is, she better use NordVPN to hide her location because Stelios is trying to rip her off. Please enjoy this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with my new friend, Kayleigh Trappe. Or Trappe. This is your first podcast?
Yeah.
You're so disappointed that this is it. You're like, really want to do Joe Rogan as my first one. And now we're in Hollywood, County Down. Is this your first time in Hollywood too?
See, I got the Hollywood's mistake and I thought I was headed for the stars. And then I got here, I was like, what's going on?
Your agent's like, you're going to Hollywood. What do you think of Hollywood? Is this the first time you've been here?
It is.
What do you
I
think?
studied in Belfast and I've never been here before. I actually messaged a girl who lives close to here. Well, I don't know if it's close to here, like Newton Ards. I'm probably way off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to Hollywood tomorrow. And she's like, oh, the beach is the glamour. And I drove in. I was like,
What do you...
yeah, you can park for a maximum of 1 hour and it's raining, so that's great.
But here's the crazy thing. You study in Belfast. I want to talk to you about that. When you're in Belfast, you have no idea of what's just around the corner. You wouldn't know. Like, okay, you're not seeing Hollywood on a particular... I put my tea down because I'm passionate about this. You're seeing here on not a good day. It's raining. It is glamorous.
So we're compensating, are we now?
You're not seeing it. See, when the sun is out, there's free Wi-Fi in this town.
It's I would say the exact same thing about Monaghan.
No, we can't compare. See, the thing about Hollywood, I mean this is the best town in the world. Free Wi-Fi. Do you understand what I mean when I say
free Wi-Fi?
Hollywood town, free Wi-Fi. Like
What?
Out in the street, free Wi-Fi.
Very little population, obviously. Then
You could eat. No, there's 7,000 people. You could eat your dinner off the streets, sir. I'm being serious. They're that clean.
I'm not moving, Shane. I'm
Hollywood, because Belfast's good. I'm sure Monaghan's
How far? Actually,
cool.
how far are we from us? I suppose I drove
10
here,
minutes from
10
Belfast.
minutes.
That's what's wild about it.
Best of both.
You be in Belfast, you see a guy kicking a pigeon to death, and there's a fella playing half accordion, half a violin, and
And then
then.
next thing you're in the glamour.
Did you ever see that guy when you were living in Belfast?
Oh yeah. Is he still about?
Oh,
Is he?
He's not going anywhere.
And then he'd be like lazing about, and then you'd walk by, and he'd be like,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, you're doing nothing.
See, when no one walks past and he's just playing a wee bit, that's when he's playing like the stuff he really wants to play.
Yeah.
That's sad because that's
Yeah.
the stuff he's into, and he does the commercial stuff when people walk past.
The busking though was fairly good in Belfast. I'd say he got probably
Jelvis?
scared out. Who's Jelvis?
Huh?
Oh, I did see him. He's near Victoria Square a lot. Yeah.
He's around the place.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to catch. I caught his eye one day.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
look, Jelvis is great. Well, let's talk about Monaghan. I want to talk to you about Belfast, loads of other things. I told you before we recorded this, I've been in Monaghan once, and that was enough, but it was good.
Enough?
I liked it, but I was like,
Enough,
I feel
but
like
it was
I've,
good. You're
I've-
really going back in yourself
I've
here, Shane.
experienced it. I feel
I'm
like I've experienced it.
extremely, like you are with Hollywood, I'm extremely protective over Monaghan, so you
Okay.
need to tread carefully. You sip that tea there, Shane, have we think.
What if you need to connect to Wi-Fi in Monaghan? Is there free?
Fibre optic.
Oh yeah, we can compete
But we have
with
to pay for it, like. My father has to pay for it, sorry, Dad.
it. For the whole town. That's a baller move. That is
No, but
baller.
I'm pretty sure the neighbours are skiving. Yeah. We're all very close knit like that.
I think I've been to a nightclub in Monaghan. Is there a nightclub called Tracks?
Not
No.
that I know of.
What's a nightclub?
Spy. Now there's somewhere else in another part of Monaghan, but I don't know what it's called.
Spy?
nightclub. It used to be called the Forum. If you were on about 10 years ago, or was it
Yeah.
something else as well? No, the Forum or Spy.
That's where I've been. Because
So
there
no
was a
wonder
girl
you
in
don't
our
wanna go back.
class. Girl in our class lived in Monaghan. We all went down. once, and then went to the local nightclub, which must have been that.
Oh, you went. Oh, so for a birthday or something. Our actual our mystery tour in college ended up in Monaghan. And I was like, I take no responsibility for this.
Oh,
And they were all giving out about it after too, and I was like, I'm sorry.
You were studying in Belfast.
Studying
I
in
forgot and was
Belfast.
like, that's
Yes.
a lazy tour in Monaghan. If
Yes.
they're all like, we're staying here, that's
Yeah.
a mystery.
I'm nearly sure the first stop was the Moy, which was class. I don't know if you've ever been in a night out.
Do you know what's mental? Do you know what's mental, right? The Moy is this small village in County Tyrone. And the
Unreal.
last podcast we did in here was a live Patreon podcast with Aaron Butler and Talal Jomar. And Talal is from the Moy. So I've talked about the Moy on this podcast recently more than anywhere.
The Moy, Hollywood, Monaghan, like where this the glamour.
International.
Yeah.
So on the mystery bus tour, you went to the
We
Moy?
first went to the Moy, and I was like, "Geez, we're treading carefully. Like we're not too far from Monaghan." I knew there was 2 stops, and then people were saying it, and I actually worked in the nightclub at the time in Monaghan, and I was like, "Please no, please no." And on the way, we were getting closer and closer, and I was like, "We're going." I just texted Mum. I was like, "Mum, any chance you're about to pick me up?" But I stayed it out. But no, yeah, we went to Monaghan and. Don't remember too much about it. I think
Like
I broke my toe. Yeah, I
50
did.
people on a bus. You're like, tell Daddy needs to hook everybody up here with Wi-Fi.
Literally.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I remember it being pretty good. Being like, like just like a country nightclub. I think it was decent. You know what I
The
mean? Like,
cultures, like full of
Yeah.
brown boots, checkered
lot
shirts.
of brown boots.
Yeah, loads of dacks.
When you worked there, did they have any? Oh, I think I was maybe the last guy to stop using Dax. But here's,
No.
Yeah,
What
okay.
what gives you the lift?
huh?
What gives you the lift?
Being from this town, being from this
Not
town.
Dax, no.
This is Hollywood. No, not anymore. I don't use Dax anymore because here's the thing about Dax: can't get out of your hands, and it's a nightmare to wash out. I don't know what to put in it,
It's
but
proper thick, isn't it? It's like
industrial type stuff.
yeah.
When you worked in the nightclub Monaghan, did they ever bring any like big DJs in or any like big music acts?
Oh no.
Like, would you have like would Nathan Carter have dropped
I was
in for
gonna
a set? Or
say,
anything?
like you're on about DJs and stuff. There'd be more hype about like Nathan Carter or All Folked Up. I don't know if you know them. I think All Folked Up.
I thought you said. I thought you said. Nathan Carter was there, all fucked up. I was like, I love it.
This just in.
He's in the club in Monaghan. Just
No,
fucked up.
but Nathan Carter, we've had like country music, like country.
in the nightclub.
Oh, so recently they obviously have a big DJ booth, but they revamped the nightclub.
I told you just before this podcast. I see that yellow T-shirt that's hanging up.
You did.
I spilled coffee over that. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put the white T.
Take your top off.
This feels like I'm just wearing different Tea With Me T-shirts. I promise it's not that.
He's trying to advertise.
So
here.
tell me about when you had the country music on.
Yeah, no, so we used. I'll cover my eyes. The
Fuck's sake.
they had like a DJ booth only, and then they opened up like a wee stage. Oh, look at this. Tight for space. You're probably getting an eyeful there, boys. Then they opened up a wee stage so that they could have like Andy's back. People are gonna think this is a different day.
I know.
But they opened up a wee stage for country, or not for country music, but for wee musicians to play, and it's always been so. The open night spy was dead as a dodo. Like there was very little going. Everyone's like, you get sick of the local, and then All Folked Up said they were playing, and sure the place was hopping.
All fucked up.
All
Now talk me
folked
through
up.
these guys. Are they like younger fellas? Or are they old boys?
Oh no, I mean my age, so young.
Yeah.
Checkered shirts, brown shoes, silverware.
There's
Dax.
guys. I bet you they've played there, and they do this cover of Maniac 2000.
I
but
think
they're
I know
like
who you're on
folk.
about, and yeah, and the voice.
I'm gonna say it wrong. It's like Ruaile Bailey or something. It's not that. It's not
Ruaile
that.
Buaile. You're not
Yes.
a Gaeilge.
Which sounds like you're saying Rory Bailey drunk. Which sounds like Nathan Carter when he's all fucked up. He's
Yeah.
trying to get Rory Bailey's attention.
One more
What
time.
are they called?
Ruaile Buaile.
Yeah.
Have you never heard of a Ruaile Buaile? Like a Ruaile,
No.
like a fight, but a Ruaile Buaile. Like
No.
If there was a fight at a night out, and someone said like,
I would
"What
say a
happened?
quarrel.
Was there a bit of a Ruaile Buaile?"
There's been a quarrel.
Quarrel.
And that's when I signalled to my
Hollywood.
team, get me out. Yeah, no, I think we were there once. We went to a few bars in Monaghan, and then we went to that nightclub. And it was
yeah.
it was
In
good.
fairness, Monaghan has loads of pubs. Like 12 pubs of Christmas, you're spoiled for choice. It's
Yeah.
class.
So do you work now? So you were teaching and now you've sort of put that to one side
Yeah, taking a career
to
break.
do the comedy thing. What does that entail?
People, I used to always like, when people asked, what are you? I was like, a lip syncer. And they were like, yeah, / comedian. And I was like, oh! And I remember in one of the first articles written about me, my brother read it and he just pissed himself laughing because it said comedian Kayleigh Trappe. And he was like, they haven't a clue. They're, one bit of a comedian. I was like, oh God. But yeah, leaving or taking a career break. So 5 years, went straight into teaching straight after college. Never did the whole Dubai guitar thing my friends all did, and then love it, but just
If you did do the guitar thing, you could have been in the, what are they called? All Fucked Up.
Why?
Hmm?
Oh gosh.
Welcome to the podcast world. As I fuck this tea over another teacher.
That's white too. You're not getting away with it. The things were spinning there. I'm with you. I'm with you.
The comedian term, I would have been a little bit weird about when, because in my head it was just, it's only if you do stand up, and I was perhaps a little bit guarded about it for no reason. Where I was like, it's just if you do stand, because I remember like people would be like, oh, comedian James Corden, and I'm like, he doesn't do stand up, and then I was like, why am I annoyed about this? I think you could say stand up comedian, and then I think comedian or comic maybe, but I think comedian, yeah, can apply to just.
See, with me as well, I always think like, everything I do is pre-planned and pre-prepared. Like when you're on about stand-up, like if you can do stand-up, if you can give back to the audience and kind of come up with funny stuff, like those bad puns on the spot, then that means that I think you are a comedian. You've like earned your badge. Mm-hmm. Whereas with me, I'm like, I don't know why everything's pre-recorded, everything's planned, everything's blah. I'm like, oh no, I can try and plan out my funny, if you know what I mean. So that's not as much.
But there's people who meticulously plan their stand up. Like there's people I know that have been doing it not just at the start but for a long time who are word for word on their stand up.
Really? And
yeah. It's almost like a monologue, but they've learned it well enough that they can make it seem like it's kind of on the spot.
Yeah, I get you.
I personally don't like working like that, but that's because I never would have been able to I wasn't so meticulous enough. Yeah. Like I can't learn lines, and I have a real short attention span, so it suits me to be a bit looser with it.
But I think that's a sign of a good comedian then, that you can be on the spot, you can come up with funny there and then and not have it all planned.
Oh yeah, but that took a long time before I would have done that. At the start I would have been not word for word, but it's like, this is the stuff I'm going to talk about, whereas now you can kind of deviate from it a bit.
Yes, I don't know if it's the teacher in me too that just like everything needs to be planned.
Right.
Because I was asked, I don't know if you've seen that that BBC, or it's not out yet, but the BBC show where they like got 5 people in and they taught them how to do stand up.
Yeah, so it was people from the online side of things that hadn't done stand up. So like we're talking about in the comedy world.
Yeah, everything was virtual, and like I said, everything was planned out. Everything that the public saw is what you wanted them to see. Nothing was on the spot, that type of thing. So I was asked as well, did I have any interest in it? And I was like, no way, oh my God. But when I watched the rest of them, I was like, damn it.
Well, they might do it again, but there's nothing stopping you just doing it. You don't need to you don't need to wait for that show to come back. You can just do it.
I could. Like, people are like, even why don't you try and be the warm up or do like a MCing for one of them? And I'm like, yeah. But when it comes, I'm like, no.
Well, what was the first video that you did? What was the first clip you ever put out?
Oh, the very, very first one was some brutal American one, I think. Oh no, do you know what it was? Might not have been the very first, but the one I remember is the Nadine Kyle flower.
Oh, the passport.
Yeah. No, flower. You're the one she's like, I like making things with flour.
Right.
No, that was one of the first, and I remember that gave me. I was just kind of like, oh, this is a bit of fun. But I remember I was actually thinking about this last night. Do you remember Dub Smash?
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that years ago, and it's like a weird version of lip syncing. So
people would voice over pre-existing stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I do, but it was just like a lot more, like you didn't have as much freedom with it and stuff like that. And I was going through my, do you ever get lost in your your albums on your phone? I was like, what was I at? So that would have been the start of it. And then I think the flyer one was the first one, and then the first one to like pop was Joanne and Vogue.
Right.
And then Louis Walsh was the next one to pop.
Now,
Per Lulu.
Nadine's a close personal friend. We've worked together.
Okay.
We've acted together.
She's probably one of the only people I've heard nothing from, and I'm always like, I hope she doesn't mind.
Oh, you haven't?
No, and I don't know if she's seen it.
I'll speak to her.
Have a word. It's Hollywood for you.
Say no more. We no, I think if she hasn't seen it, I think she'd be great about it, because
I hope so.
we acted in a thing for BBC called Soft Border Patrol, and she was like a cameo, like guest star, and in it, it's total. The show is pretty much improvised, and I was to like kind of like be in scenes with her, but they were like, take the piss, that kind of thing. But then I got very worried about that, and I was like, well, I don't know her, and I don't want to. The whole joke, I was going to take the piss out of me more than her, but then I realised she was being really deprecating, and then she was kind of like, whatever you want, just. So she definitely. I'm not joking about her being a close personal friend. She definitely doesn't. In my limited experience of meeting her, she doesn't take herself seriously at all.
I think so. I get that vibe. It's
but
just
did Louis like?
Louis mentioned me in an article and everything.
He did.
See, Louis not on social media.
What was the Louis clip?
It was he had slight digs at Cheryl Cole, wasn't it? That one. He's like, he talked about all the X Factor, and it was digs at Alexander Burke because she won over JLS. Do you remember JLS? He was JLS's mentor.
That's right.
And he was like, basically, I gave Louis Walsh an almighty amount of sass that I didn't know he had, and I
Louis a bitch. There's no getting away from it.
And I was all like doing all this, and like I was just like. And he loved it because I got a few messages being like, I'm a friend of Louis and he's seen it and he loves it. And I was like, yeah.
Do you think they were all legit, or
but then it turns out a couple of them were, yeah.
Right.
And then one of his, I don't know if it's his manager or whatever agent, got on to me, and then I was like, yeah. I kind of just was like, yeah. But I was at an event then a while later with RT, and she was at it, and she's like, I was the girl who was messaging him, and I was like, oh shit, right, okay, this actually is. And then about a week later, I got tagged in Irish Independent. Louis did a whole speak about me. Yeah.
Louis is someone I'd like to spend some time with.
Me too.
But go to a water park or something. I think we'd hit it off.
I've never seen Louis Walsh in togs now.
But that's the thing. That's maybe where, if he's not on social media, that's maybe why he's too busy just like being at water parks. He strikes me as a guy who likes to have fun.
I'm waiting for him to walk in the store. Is he coming?
I would love it. I would love it.
I'd love it.
Do you know, apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but when Louis was trying to get Westlife signed, he took them over to see Simon Cowell, and
I heard this, I think.
they performed for him, and Simon goes, look, I love it, apart from the lead guy. He goes, he doesn't work for me. And that was Shane Filan. And Louis takes the boys away, and he's like, here's what we're going to do. Dye Shane's hair peroxide blonde. Took them back. Like weeks later, they auditioned for Simon. He's like, what about this new guy? And Simon's like, he's the best. I love it. And he signed him. And I was like, that's so Louis. If Louis told me dye my hair peroxide blonde, not a problem.
Do it.
And I'm like, Louis, what am I doing this for? He goes, just do it. I would do it.
He knows. Louis Walsh knows
Yeah.
best. He knows pop stars.
You look like a pop star. I love the video where
Sharon!
him and Sharon were great.
Oh.
That was peak X Factor time.
Yeah. There's a clip of Jeopardy, the jockey one. I'm a jockey.
No.
And she's like, she comes in like head to toe in leather, like in a hat, like I think she's wearing hot pants or whatever. And they're like, so what do you do? And she's like, I'm a jockey. And he's like, you're a what? And then the whole time she's like, I can see the rain on the roof. Like she's just singing some brutal song. And Sharon and Louis are in convulsions, and Simon's all like, stop, and all like, stop it. And then he asks them to leave, and they're just crying. And I was like, if I ever do an X Factor clip, it has to be that.
Now, have you met Jedward?
No. Have you met Jedward?
No, but they tweeted me once.
Oh!
I know.
You're name dropping now.
I know. I can't remember. It was. I don't even think the tweet mentioned him, but it was something like, it was either Twitter or Instagram or something, and they sent me a DM. I think it was Twitter, and said something like, "Hey man, super cool."
You know, you have to follow somebody for them to send you DMs.
Oh,
so
I
you're
don't think I
following
don't follow
Jedward.
Jedward. Do you want me to say it? Planet Jed. That's what their thing's called, isn't it? Planet Jedward. Have you done a Jedward clip?
No, I just don't have the wigs yet.
That's all that's holding you back. Hold on.
But they're very.
Jedward.
Have you seen their clips of on it in TikTok?
Oh yeah, they're killing
They're
it.
absolutely hilarious. On like side of mountains and all, and in rivers, like swimming and all.
Now, you probably thought I was making this up when I tell you that Jedward DM'd me. Now, bear in mind, I had not tweeted about them or done anything. Jedward, 17th of August 2020. Just, do you want to read that out?
Yeah. I just want to make sure it's official as well.
It's a fish. It's a fish.
Oh wow, it's very Jedward style. Shane, rock Hollywood, you superstar legend. Hands emoji. Good vibes from John and Ed. Oh yeah. You're a big lick. Thanks you guys, right back at you. Are Jedward coming as well?
I should ask Jedward to do the podcast.
They'd 100% do it.
See, the thing about Jedward is, do you know what they strike me as? Two guys having fun.
Yeah.
Two guys having fun. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the crack is, but they look like they're enjoying
But
it.
they come out of hibernate. Like you'd think, oh, Jedward must have gone and got real jobs or whatever like that. And next thing they're singing off the side of a mountain. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
obviously not.
they're like, they say if there's like a nuclear bomb, cockroaches, anything that survive, it'll be cockroaches and
And
John
Jedward.
and Edward
Yeah.
still
I
running
think that
about.
they would, what's the word, no, actually, not going down that route. Never mind.
Do I think they would?
No, I did the
Get the
biology
word.
of that there, and I decided not to bother.
Do I think they would? Put great music back into the world even at those
Yes.
times. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Because I think the only other person who's right would be Louis Walsh.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, guys, dye your hair black and let's start putting out music. Have you ever had anybody that you've put a clip out from, or something like an intermediary? You're a teacher, is that a word? Intermediary? Like another person get in touch and say they don't like it.
No, but I've had fans, like Moore Higgins fans are absolutely outrageous.
From Love Island?
Yeah, they call themselves, like there's a name, like you know the way you'd be like the Toddsters or whatever.
No.
Make it happen. I'm
No
a
one's going to want
Toddster.
to be that.
You know, like you have believers and all.
Yeah.
And
But let's workshop some more for me.
Toddsters, Shane Evaders.
The Sheen Evaders?
Yeah. The tea parties.
I think that'll catch on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Or
what are the Moore Higgins fans? And how many is there?
They were ruthless. And then at one point I was like, this is somebody with about 10 different accounts because it was all the same carry on. But yeah, but like, I don't take any of that to heart or anything. There's a laugh, but
Right.
it's just like,
What were they saying?
Maura. Like in one, so I did the clip of her. I don't know if you saw it. She was on the Late Late and she was giving out to, it was Valentine's Day and she's like, brush your teeth. Like about the men, like, and spoil your woman or whatever. And it's a bit of a crack. And like, I always dress up, like trying to look glam anyway. So I was like, I don't know what harm I was doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'd be like, per Maura, you're slagging off her accent. And I'm like, this is a clip of Maura. Like,
It's her accent.
Like, it is literally her. Like, yesterday, actually, I don't know if you ever get this, I got a video removed. I don't know if you saw the video of me and my parents. I put it up last week.
You were sitting in between.
Yeah, and I was going mad at my mother and father using the Melissa McCarthy clip. It got removed for violence yesterday. And it was like, it was just like, it doesn't meet our guidelines. And I was like, this clip is already online. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you're just using the
I'm just
audio.
using the audio that's on Instagram. So I don't get it. But it was the same with her. I was just like,
I've had comments removed, but not like a video. I don't
yeah,
think.
no, that. And then, did you ever see, you think this one's crazy to be removed? I've had 2 removed. That one and, do you ever see the little boy in England going, I'm going to give Santa an uppercut?
Yeah.
Removed for violence.
Yeah. By the way, that was me as a child. I am the boy from the video.
You
Yeah.
actually do look like him. Did Santa come?
Yeah, he did. And then he brought me presents.
Oh, good. Yeah, lots of punjanity and cups and stuff like that. But yeah. So it removed.
I had a comment removed for threatening language under some video. Mental.
Jeez, what were you saying?
I just told the guy to fuck off, I think. But it was like fully justified. But yeah, it's the world of like algorithms and posting and that kind of thing. I'm so shit at it. I don't
You're
really
better off though.
get trends and that like I want to, like I wish I could, but then I started speaking to people recently who are advising me on clips and being like, you need to do this and then you need to take it, if it doesn't hit in the first hour, take it down, try different hashtags and all this. I just
all that.
I'm
And
too
you know what?
old.
People get far too bogged down by it though, and then
Yeah.
there'll be people who won't post anything because they're like I even know people like, oh no, don't post on a Monday. Oh no, Tuesday.
yeah.
Forget about it. Like they're literally like Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and Friday lunchtime,
Yeah.
lunchtime, and then it comes like
Friday at
4 o'clock.
12:02.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And I always used to say not to get too bogged down because I think you'll end up not being able to be creative if you're too worried about the facts
Yeah.
and figures. Like if you like, I always say if I like the clip before I make it, or if I obviously you're not going to find yourself funny, but if you think it's decent,
Well, now
oh right,
you'd be surprised. There's
You
the
sit
old
laughing at
clip.
yourself,
There's
do
the
you?
old clip. I'm slapping the leg.
the wife's like, oh god, look at this, look at me.
Don't know. So like, there, especially if we've done a podcast or stuff, I'll look back at and still laugh at the clip, if you know what I mean.
No, was it no praise and self praise, Shane?
No praise like self praise. Yeah.
But no, I think it's the opposite. There's no praise in self praise.
Oh, there is.
Let's change it. There's no praise like self praise.
But that's funny that like you're literally using the person's audio, so you're not doing even an impression of the person
Yeah.
for people to be annoyed.
Yeah.
Have
Like
you
I've
ever?
never given an opinion, like ever.
Do you
It's
ever-
already out there.
Do you ever have people be like, "Do my clip of this"?
Oh yeah.
They ask for their own.
Yeah. Yeah. And like if you're like, oh hey, like in DMs, it'd be like someone maybe well known that I'd be like, oh that's so cool, like that they're meshing me, and they'd be like, oh yeah, do you know I actually did this thing one time? I'll send you the link, and I'm like,
Nah, you can't do that, can you?
no. But I think as well, like you're
Like, who's the
kinda,
most high profile person who's done that?
That's it, mention no names. Shane.
Hint at it.
Shane Todd. It was Shane Todd.
Every week, the
Yeah.
podcast.
I actually did do a clip for today.
Did you?
Yeah.
How can we see it?
I have it on my phone if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah. And then Dan, can you put it into the podcast? Do you know what? Everyone who's everyone in show business banged their head off that.
That's why. Oh.
Everybody.
That's why I was kind of hinting at you yesterday. I was like, in case there was somebody else on with you, I was like, I'd love to get the actual to you, but I did one. I did it yesterday. It's pure random. It's an old enough one.
Because the first time I saw your clips, it was, I think, a clip that I had done with Paddy
Paddy.
McDonnell.
yeah.
Because there's like on TikTok, I'd seen people in the past do them to my clips, and you stop watching after 1 second because you're
Yes,
like,
yeah.
they don't even know all the words.
Yeah.
But with this, I was like, well, I initially at the start was like, is this an impression of me? And then realised no, it was me talking. So I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever actually done. I have to be careful with the ways I phrase these words because always when I talk about mouths and wording and
Yeah.
everything. But I don't think I've ever done. I've been you until this one
Okay.
because I've done Paddy
Yes. Do you?
a few times.
In my head, this is the way I think you do it. Do you do the person's accent out loud when you're recording
No.
it? But no.
No. If you walked in, you might hear a whisper, but it would be just like
Freaky
and
sound.
yeah. But you know why? Because you'll never, especially when it's real. If it's real, like Paddy talks a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you were to actually try and say that, you'd never get the words out, even though he does obviously when he talks himself.
Right.
But like, yeah,
'Cause I
that
thought
was
you would do it.
Brian, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Brian's clip.
Yeah.
I thought you would do it and then not use your audio. You know what I mean?
No, it's like completely silent. Like even, which is kind of awkward when you're doing when you're doing things in the public. If I was doing it out in the middle of the street, or I did one in the airport last week, I'm literally walking around like this,
See, I couldn't do that.
and people are like, "What the?" Is she had like first sign of madness?
And before I say this, what's the most amount of takes you've ever done for a clip?
Oh, I'd say
Is your phone just like if you look at the gallery?
no, because I would delete it if I don't like it. I don't ever
Ah.
keep it, and I'm so panicky. Like if you could see some of the clips, like I would show my brother, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that's perfect." Right? No, or I didn't like the way I looked there.
Or
I-
have you-
I'm so so particular, which is kind of why I am the way I am, though. So
Right.
you know, I get why it's doing well is because I'm a perfectionist with it.
Yes.
But I'd say I don't know if you've ever seen Ted, the movie.
Oh yeah, the bear.
Do you know the scene where he lists off all the girls' names?
Right. Yes.
Amber, Katrina, Blue. It's like I'd say that was the longest it took me, maybe.
See,
Yeah. How do I do that now? Okay.
Dan, shout your number out there. What about airdrop?
Oh, airdrop could be.
Hey,
You protecting me there,
Whoa.
Shane.
The whiz.
3G, no.
Yeah, we'll cut definitely for sure.
Hold on, I thought Hollywood had free Wi-Fi.
Only when you're walking in the street.
Right, you didn't mention that.
Just WhatsApp and I'll shout the number out.
Okay.
It's not Daniel's MacBook or T.
MacBook.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very excited to see this.
It's not even a recent one though. I don't know what made me do it. Oh, do you know what it was? I showed Dad 5 and he laughed the most at this one. So I
Showed
picked
Dad
it.
5?
I showed Dad 5 of the clips I was
Oh, I was like, how many dads you have?
Brian.
And what a
5
disrespectful thing to call him.
You try to send it again.
Oh, send it again. It's
Morning,
still
Dad
sending.
5.
It's like a quarter of the way there.
But it hasn't moved. Is it? It's moving on Thursday. Okay.
Dad 5.
Dad number 5, yeah.
Oh no. You don't want to be like,
My
even
mother's
at,
busy.
I think after Dad 2 it gets disrespectful. Like Dad 2 is probably still delighted.
He's still important.
Dad 5. I always think it's weird when people call their parents by their first name. Unless you do it like as a joke.
My mother would go through me if I did that now.
Would she?
She would. If I ever turned around, like she would. Oh. Because my cousin does it with her mother and mum. They always say they're just really good friends. And I think it's so cute though. I think like...
The odd time I think you
Yeah.
can say it
Yeah.
as like a term of endearment.
But mommy would take it as an insult. Mum would be like... If I was to say it, I'd be like, Angela. And she'd be like,
Right.
World War Three.
Yeah.
Even with us, like she didn't want us to have nicknames or anything. Like she didn't want us to have our name shortened. Like she picked names that we'd never be able to be like my brother's James, but there's James in the family and they've all been moved to Jimmy. And Mom was like, no.
Right.
Yeah. My mum sounds like a witch, but she's not. She's all right.
Is this Mum 1?
Mum 3.
Okay, I'm excited.
This is like 3/4 of the way gone now. The pressure's building.
Imagine this is just an entire podcast back to front.
Oh, here, yeah.
Have you ever had the delete one?
No, but I did one for the two Johnnies. They're, you know, that 3 arena thing they do.
Yes.
And it was fairly raunch. So I never posted it myself. Now I'm on career break. I'm just going to put it up and be like...
Right. Yeah.
Hardcore. But yeah, it was like I asked Johnny. I was like, don't do anything with that, just because I wouldn't want it to be on. And I knew it was like it was played at the 3 arena. I knew people were going to be videoing it, whatever. But
Right.
I just said I'd hold off. It was about the sweet corn and other stuff.
Did you go to that?
I did. It was
And you saw it
really
being
bizarre.
played?
I
Is
think
that
that
weird?
was one of the first. That was at Christmas, and that was the weirdest thing that had happened, or the biggest thing that had happened. Who's that? Guess who that is? He's
As long
probably
as
not
it's
even
not-
ginger, but I just kind of made him ginger.
Is that Kieran?
Nope.
Paddy?
Nope. Andrew.
Andrew Ryan? He is naturally ginger.
Yeah, I thought that.
I have two bathrooms in my house. She uses one all the time and I use the other one. We don't hear or see anything, which is very important for me. When she disappears for a bit, I know, like, oh, we know what's going on now. Like, she just had dinner. Like,
That's weird that after dinner you both put the knife and forks down. You're like,
Look at
I'll be
each
back
other.
in half an hour.
Ratio.
don't
Just put the knife and fork down, stand up, bow like karate. Let's play a battle shit.
Every time I come on here, like, I fucking end up going down. Every time I come on this podcast, we end up
Taekwondo
talking
dumps.
about the toilet stuff. I'm
Poo-jitsu.
not like that at all. No, I'm not getting involved.
Do you know what is so impressive about that is you get it word for word. What's so disrespectful is that your quiff is somehow better than mine.
I had to whip out. I have this like attachable fringe.
How
I had the brown wig on. I was like, this is too much.
How long would that take you to do?
I took about an hour, which actually isn't that long.
From learning?
See, the learning in that's very limited because it's short, snappy clips.
So you can listen to a bit of it and recite it?
Yeah, but the longest thing about that is changing your character and moving into a different person. Or I do a lot of mine would have the fake laughing, and nearly you have to make sure that, like, if I say, for example, I had you back there, I need to make sure I bring it, like, the way you kind of maneuver, making it look like a real laugh.
Right.
It's like, it's tricky, but I love a good fake laugh. It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's the fact that when I look at you doing it, I can hear the accent that you look like you're doing the accent that you're
Yes.
saying, but I would never think of that. I just go, well, you just mime it anyway.
Yeah,
But
I
you're
call it
almost like
mouth
miming in an
isms.
accent.
Because people always say that I know people who do lip syncs and all they worry about is just getting the words, get the words. And like, no, like if you say, like you would say Hollywood, you would do like you would, I'd say Hollywood and you would say Holly. So your mouth would be different.
Right.
And I'm like, it's so, you don't think about it.
Is the Irish lip syncing scene popping off? Is there any beefs in it? Does it ever get like,
Not really.
would it be like the West Coast rap scene in the mid-90s?
You're looking for a bit of dirty.
Yeah.
No, there's just like there's one girl and she's brilliant and she does a lot of Friends and like a lot of sitcom stuff. So I'm like, that's your territory. I let you at that.
Okay. So it is
not
like
the-
East Coast, West Coast. You're like, stay in your set.
We've no beef. No,
Yeah.
but I kind of got so I was doing so much like Pat Short and a lot of Irish farmers and all that for a while, and then when I started doing Joanna Voglu, Walsh yourselves, I was like, I liked trying to nearly take off or impersonate people, and so I just try and do a bit of everybody, like Peter Crouch, really, like that's just totally random, but there's some people who have a certain mouth,
Right.
and you're just like, no matter who or what, and then there's some clips that are like Chris Kamara, red card, like and he wrote to me about that, by the way.
He what?
Yeah.
Cammy?
Yeah.
Cammy on the DMs?
Yeah, I think that was probably my biggest, like, yeah, Cammy's in the yeah, you forgot about Jedward.
Why did Jedward DM it? Like, there was that wasn't a continuation of a conversation. I love that. I'm going to get them on. Does this crack you up? Do people always go, you need to do this clip, you need to do this clip?
Yeah, a lot.
I think there's one you should do.
Oh.
It was Mario Rosenstock.
He does a lot of interpretations, yeah, of who now?
So he was on the Late Late Show talking about Michael Flatley.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favourite
Yeah.
clips.
Do you know, I was going to do Michael Flatley, but I heard he wasn't well. After, you know the time, I know this is deeper, but for the Eurovision, I'd planned on doing him, and then I heard he wasn't well, and I was like, oh, maybe not, but that's a brilliant one. Him in general is very good, but I always said it's weird, even with Connor's sketches, I was like, would I do an impression of an impression? It's like,
oh, okay, because then it's like
weird.
Inception.
Yeah, that's how the Inception. He said, I'd say there was t-shirts inside the t-shirt. Yeah. I was like, that would be so strange. But I even with Connor's sketches was on the overlap. I don't know if you saw that clip.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Doing Roy Keane.
Yeah, like
So
if I
good.
did that, people would just think I'm doing Roy Keane.
Right.
Because I did a Roy Keane one from that. I did the story about the bus and getting arrested, and
Yes.
did you ever see that in Chicago? I did that one, and the overlap got on to me, and they were like, if you ever do another one, let us know. Yeah, I was feel like, so I was like, maybe I'll do the Connor sketches one, but then I was like, is that weird?
Right.
Doing
I
one
see
of
what you
somebody
mean.
else, it's not
Yeah.
actually him, but then there's loads of material out there with the overlap at the minute. It's class. So
Is a lot now that you're kind of full time at this? Is your life just watching stuff on YouTube?
not even YouTube. Well, yeah, a bit of everything. It's just my brain never stops ticking. I'm sure, like yourself, even sleep at night, but you'll be like, I'll do this. No, you're zoned out.
You will never meet a man that has a sounder sleep. There are no thoughts that come into my mind.
What's your secret?
See from 8:30. Not much going on. See, even before 8:30, not a lot. The traffic.
vouch for that.
People are like, oh, your mind must be like a busy highway. It's like a country road that's closed. There's
Do you listen to whale music, or what's the secret?
You have the odd tractor going past, but that's it. Do I listen to No, I genuinely, like, it annoys so many people. I just go to sleep. I just go to sleep. I think it's because
So for sure.
I'm not an overthinker. Do you know what I mean?
Welcome to my world.
I'm not pondering anything. I make decisions on things straight away. I never, ever, people go, you might want to weigh that up. I already know. I never browse.
Wow.
Supermarkets. Oh, we're just thinking of which ice cream to get. Well, you should, think in your brain, which one do you want? Get it.
Is there a
It
downside
cracks
to
me up.
this?
Huh?
Is there a downside to
Yeah,
this?
the
Are you
decisions are
rational?
always
Like,
wrong.
do you
It backfires all the time. Do you know what I'm so bad at, right? You know when you go, and this is such a niche thing to be bad at. You know when you go to the airport and there's not a designated security person, a customs, when you're going through security. You know the way there's someone, you go into that lane, go
Yeah.
into that lane. Do you know what my biggest fear is? When there's no one there and you go, there's
But you're
8
good at making
lanes.
decisions. Would you not be like,
That's
aisle
my
one?
point. I count people in my head and I go, it's this one. we're going to this one, and there can be 50 people at this, 50 people at this. I spy one with 12 people at it. Always the wrong decision. It's always that, because I'll see someone else who's walking in at the same time, and a guy in a fluorescent pink hat, and then I keep my eye on him and go, I'm gonna get through before him, and then I'm still in the queue and I can see him, at the Burger King. Somehow I can see through, and he's just halfway through a Burger King, and I'm still no further on. I always pick the wrong queue, and I'm always held up the latest.
Is there something to be learned here? I feel like this
The moral
is
is
turn into a
fast track. Go fast track.
Pay the
But see, the
extra.
days I get fast track, then fast track takes ages. I'm bad at picking where to go.
I'm the opposite. I can't make a decision for the life of me about
Right.
anything. I'm like, do you ever see that scene from The Nope? It's like, what do you want? I'm
Right.
like coming to order Chinese or anything. It's a nightmare. Like, and everyone says you
Well,
just
no,
get
you
the
sh-
same Chinese every time.
You've
don't
got the
you? Not
designated
me.
Chinese, but you can have a backup option, but it has to be the same kind of thing. Here's what do you get? Can I guess?
I don't even know.
Would this be offensive if I
Yeah,
guess?
no, go for it. Go for it.
I could see you getting. Don't read into this.
Right.
Your body language is very closed off. I could see you getting a lemon chicken,
What's that?
like chicken with a lemon sauce. I could see
very
you getting a
girly.
lemon chicken, and asking for 1 or 2 prawn crackers. I don't know why. They're like, we'll send you
You
a bag.
saying I need
and
to go on a diet?
No.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Here's what I get. Always the same. Salt and chili chicken. Honey chili chicken. Boiled rice and chips. Now this is to be split between
It's
two.
boiled because it's healthier, is it? Like,
The boiled rice?
yeah.
No, it's because I can't have dairy.
Oh.
So I just get the boiled rice. But here's what I do. That's to be split between two. Then you mix it all up. Bit of salt and chili chicken, bit of honey chili chicken, bed of rice, some chips over it, and then your chickens.
What do you call it? You call this what?
Heaven.
What cuisine?
Chinese.
A Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that whole debacle about what we call a Chinese?
I thought that was the name of that band, Found Maniac 2000
Really,
again.
really?
Yeah.
Really, really debacle.
What do you mean? What was the
Do you not
debacle?
remember, or maybe you don't scroll. See, he's probably asleep.
Yeah.
About calling it a Chinese. The Chinese people got offended because we called it a Chinese.
Right.
Did you not see this? No.
No.
It was massive. And then all the English ones who do those, it's like, come eat with me, or like eat my Chinese with me.
Oh,
they all
yeah.
came on apologise and been like, we call an Italian
Yeah.
and we call an Indian.
Yeah.
But the Chinese or the Americans were like, so offensive.
Did they
like,
want to say go for a Chinese meal?
yeah, or like eat a Chinese dinner or whatever. But yeah, no, I thought
Because it might sound like a guy.
you're sleeping under or
Meeting
you're
a
living under
Chinese.
rock. Yeah, but they were
I
like,
see their
it's
point.
partial. They were like, it's racist, and everyone was just kind of like, nobody could understand how. And then they were all explaining themselves. I was like, just leave it. But
Do you know what I think that is? I think that's marketing. Because I guarantee after that, everyone talking about it, I guarantee the sales of Chinese takeaway food through the roof after that.
no
What's
such
that
thing as
place
bad
in
publicity.
maybe Tala? There was a place. Did you see it? That place where it was like, this is the worst rated Chinese restaurant anywhere, takeaway.
No.
And it's like, oh my God, did anyone see this? It's like, there's no real shop front to it. You walk into this like listless building and they do like a box, what do you call it? Like
a
a
spice bag or
spice
something.
bag.
Is it? Yeah.
And people are like, this is the worst rated ever. And there's like a tiny hatch that the food comes through.
And I suppose everybody wants to go now. Like it's
And,
probably
and,
doing
and I
really
guarantee
well
you now
because
everybody's going. I can't do that. Like, hey guys, here's a typical day. And it's not a typical
you
day.
should do that as a skit, though.
Because you're not crying for the first hour of it.
Or setting up your. I always find it must be funny that they have to get up out of bed and set their camera up. And
To
then
wake
go
up?
back and like, oh.
Yeah.
You're like, hold on a wee second now. Or like put on the makeup and the mascara. I'm like,
Yeah.
I woke up like this. And then I had my juice.
And do you think, like, because what I want to see, like, anytime they go, oh, guys, we checked out this place for dinner, and it's always like the nicest meal I've ever had. Show me, I want to see roast places. Because those people probably give them a free meal.
There is one fella who does takeaways one, and he gets asked in place, and he tells him at your own risk. If I don't like it, I'm
That's
saying
like the Guinness guys like that too.
that. Who?
The Guinness, is that what
Guinness
it's called? The Guinness
Guru, yes.
He's fair
But
too.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
I would follow somebody like that actually is honest, because there's a load of crap out there.
Well, I
like
can't have wheat, so I can't drink Guinness.
wheat and dairy. Oh my god!
I know. But I love to watch. I drink Guinness through him, if you know what I mean. I feel like
Do you
I'm
not
still.
is there wheat in Guinness?
Oh, it's
Barley?
packed with it.
Is there a
It's
wheat
glutened
free?
up.
Is there gluten free? No.
It's glutened up. No, I always message them and say, like, get a gluten free Guinness going. Apparently there is gluten free stout, but see when you start getting into those weeds, it's not going to be
No,
nice.
it's not the
It's not
same
going to be the
thing.
same.
Did you realise you were gluten or wheat free after a big night in the pints one night? Or?
No, I could probably do it, but it makes me all tired. Makes me tired.
Sure, all you do is sleep anyway.
I drink Guinness every day. That's the thing.
That's at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, though I can't deal with those like typical day in my life or that kind of thing.
I watch them for the crack. Like, I think they're hilarious. I like my fella will tell you, at the minute, I just sit and watch people eat, like Americans eating a load of bad food, and they're like, and they don't even talk.
Have you seen the guy, the Asian guy? The it's called like I hope this is what it's called. Oh, it's called like mukbang or something.
Mukbang.
Mukbang.
What does that stand for?
I think mukbang's that place in Tala. Mukbang. He's the guy who just eat. The thing is, I don't care about what he's eating. It's with a plastic water bottle at the start, the way he just pushes it into his face.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Mukbang?
No, but it's that's not a person. A mukbang is a thing,
Oh, well then I keep seeing this one guy.
right? And he eats loads
I
of stuff.
hope.
And he's probably pure thin too. And he
No.
Okay.
But this guy, here's how he starts his videos. He has a plastic bottle of water. He's all the food there, and he starts sipping the water, and then he crushes it, and all the water goes into his face, and then he throws it away, and that's how he starts eating. I'm really into this guy.
It's like, stay hydrated for the amount of salty food he's
You
about to
want
eat.
to see what this guy eats. But what do you like? The lip syncing videos, you'll always do those. That's going great. But like, do you have your eye on something else you'll start to do as well? Because I saw a sketch you did,
That's what I'm trying to do a bit
That
more
was
of
great.
that. Thank you.
and I don't even maybe understand all those Dublin
Yeah.
stereotypes as such, but I still liked it a lot.
Like I did that one because I love the GAA, I love football only in the last few years really, and I was like, I want to show I have an agent, and she's kind of like, you need to, Kayleigh, show who you are. I was hiding behind, see with the lip syncs, it's a good thing that you're covering somebody else the whole time, but then you're covering somebody else and you're not showing anything. So I remember like the first time I did like the question thing, or maybe went on TV, or the first radio, it was like everyone was like, no, I don't believe her, that's not what she sounds like, she's only lip syncing and stuff. And I was like, they really know nothing. I didn't say one word for at least 2 years, not one word. So when I first spoke,
Like Anne Frank.
yeah, I suppose. When I first spoke, the amount of ones writing to me being like, I don't believe you, you're lip syncing. Or everyone thought I was, because I do a lot of Derry girls.
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was from Derry or South Dub with the
Right.
two girls down there. And now when I talk, everyone's like, oh my god. But now it's kind of like, oh, she can talk. Like, I would have no fears. So I'd love to get into like some form of presenting or acting or something. I was doing an ad there for Bus Éireann last week, and I absolutely loved it. It was my first time on a shoot, and I was like, oh, it's a bit of me.
Did they hook you up as well as obviously payment with like? Did they give you like a black card or anything?
No, nothing. And I wouldn't mind. They told me that one of the most popular routes is Monaghan to Dublin, and not a word about it.
We were talking about this because Dan is from Oma, and he was thinking he's not 100% sure, but he thinks the Oma to Dublin bus stops in Monaghan, and you stretch your legs for 20 minutes. It does.
There's an Oma one. You're right.
Is that
there's-
Bus Éireann?
I think so, isn't it? It has to
Sometimes
be. I
it's
can't talk about
sometimes
it.
it's also bus, sometimes Bus Éireann. I think.
Sometimes
Yeah.
also, but sometimes Bus. Are those guys working together?
Apparently so.
That's
Cross
a good
border.
sign.
So a unity, cross-border community there. No, there's a Letterkenny one, and then there's an Oma. Or maybe the Letterkenny one is the Oma one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long stint if you're from Letterkenny. Oof.
What? Say I was to do a show in Monaghan, where would I do it?
The Garage Theatre.
The Garage Theatre.
Yeah,
Sounds nice.
I do my
Is it old?
grand. No, do you know? It depends on what you like. If you like more of a pub scene, there'd be pubs like you could do it in, or it's like no. I think the
No,
Garage Theatre
theatre.
holds just short of 300. That probably wouldn't.
Theatre.
Theatre.
I'm all about the theatre.
Yeah,
I think I've heard of that. I think Colin Murphy's done that a fair bit.
probably. That's where most, if any people come to do gigs and whatever.
Should I
it'll
do
be
it?
there. Yeah.
Garage Theatre?
Yeah. I'll hype it up.
Is it like-
I'll be your hype girl.
What have
whatever
you
that's
gone to
called.
see there? Have you gone to see anything there back?
I've been in shows in it, so I do like pantos and musicals and stuff.
Oh, so
again
you've
in the
been
last
on
couple of
stage.
years.
Yeah, you've been on stage before.
Just in the last 3 years. It's the same with football. I've never actually said this, but I like lost loads of weight a few years ago, and I only started doing different things in the last 4 years. So even this, it's all brand new.
So would that have, when you started doing the videos, would that have been something you wouldn't have done before
100%.
because of appearance?
Yeah. Just confidence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like even in university, there was a musical every year, and I never went for it. And then finally, I was like, "Frig it, Kayleigh, just go for it." And I did it, and I went for a small part, got a small part, and since then, a lot of the ones from uni have been like, "Geez, we didn't know you had that in you," and we didn't know. And I was like, "Such a shame," but like, look at it's come around now, and
Yeah, it's
I'm loving
hard
it.
because you shouldn't see it as wasted time because you're doing it now.
Exactly.
But I can relate a bit. Like in school, I would love to have done school plays, and I was always so jealous. But I was so worried about what people would think. And for me, it was just like a guy thing of,
Yeah.
are my mates going to take the piss if I do this? And I lacked loads of, like, I would have been really like, think on my feet in terms of in school. Like I would like take the piss out of, not disruptive, but I would like take the piss out of teachers. I'd be funny at like doing
Naturally
impressions
witty
and things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I couldn't commit to the idea of doing the play because I was like, what if I'm not good in this? Or you know,
You're too far gone nearly then.
yeah, I
You're
don't
too
know. I
overly
just thought
committed.
like, I just wanted to play football. That's all we did. So I was like, if I say I'm doing the play,
Yeah.
and here's the thing looking back on it, the frustrating thing is nobody would have cared.
I know.
Nobody would have cared.
I always say I've come full circle with the way I think about it. And I always say I was always the girl who had such potential. Everyone used to be, oh, she's got potential, she's potential, but I just never had the balls to just go through with it and actually do it because I was too afraid of what people think. Like, do you think when you were first starting comedy, did it take like a certain what's the word? Like, did it take a video to do well for you to be like, oh, this is actually, I'm actually not bad at this? Like, did you need the public to tell you you were funny, or were you confident enough in your own self?
I would have known myself whether it was good or not.
Right. I would have relied now when I first started this on maybe one video to do well and a few nice comments, and I was like, all right, this is actually all right.
Yeah, and isn't it funny how much at the start a bad comment rocks you?
I know, but now it doesn't
I
at
think
all.
now it's just,
Yeah,
it can't
because I'm
write.
just so confident. I'm not confident, but I'm just so like content now with it that I don't care.
I'm thinking about, I look back at all that time about school plays, stuff like that, and I love to like put that right. I'd love to like, I don't know if it's an option, but like re-register in school and just go
Just
back
go back
in.
and do it.
Yeah, and just like even like the P7 plays, could you imagine at 35 the acting experience, the performance experience I have? Because we did, what's that one, please sir, can I have some more?
Oliver.
Oliver?
Twist. Yeah.
Oliver
Yeah.
Twist.
You would have been Oliver. You are an Oliver.
But I was just, I
can't have parts
I
over the
lip
week.
synced in the choir. Pardon?
You can't have pards, so you're a bit restricted. that
Hey,
way.
I can't have porridge
Can you?
because there's a little loophole here.
Right.
See, oats, they are, and I might be wrong, they are gluten free. Dan, what's
Naturally, I think they're gluten free, but they're treated or rolled in flour.
Oh,
Which
so you
makes
can't
them-
have rolled oats.
You can't have normal ones. You have to have
And
the
then- but a bit
specifically
What's it
gluten
with?
free.
Milk or with what?
I can't. I need to make some adjustments. This
Do you not
explains
have
why I
porridge every
sleep
day?
every day. Same breakfast every day. My whole life. Not my whole life. Last 5 years. Same breakfast every day.
What?
Porridge. Lots of oats. Almond milk. Almond butter. Frozen fruit. Banana. All mixed in.
I draw the line at banana. Just bananas. Just
Can I say something controversial?
yeah.
Banana might be the best food in the world. Pound for pound. Consistently brilliant. Because see a bad banana, fucking unbelievable still. Bananas are, oh my, imagine the first guy to discover a banana, not being sexist, it might have been a woman. You imagine the first time, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing with that? Well, I think there's potential in this. I
If
think
it was
there's
all
something
bruised,
in
would you
here.
eat it though?
Huh?
Would you eat a bruised one?
I wouldn't have back in the day, and now I've changed my stance on it. I would now.
Matured with your bananas.
Because see, sometimes the bruised ones are the nicest one, and so I think that's the same with people.
Cue the violins.
I love bananas. Bananas are incredible, and I only found out recently because I heard whenever I was younger, oh, if you eat a certain amount of bananas in a day, you'll die because of the potassium.
yeah.
But that's like 8, so I eat like 3 sometimes now because I roll the dice.
You're talking 110 calories a pop though.
In
I
bananas,
think so.
but it's good calories.
It is. But then they say that about avocados too.
I love avocado.
Ah, no.
See anything
Bananas
you-
and avocados are rotten.
See anything you peel to get into. I like it. I like that process. Like the orange. I love an orange, but I prefer clementines.
Why?
They're easier to peel and they have less pips.
I like wee mandarins. Just
Oh
on
yeah,
the go.
yeah. And the thing is, how do you eat them?
One. Do you not know that, Shane? No.
I actually, you were talking about the school production. In a way, I have a history of lip syncing because isn't this so heartbreaking? Oh my god! See, whenever I was in the school choir, I mimed because I didn't want to
You
sing it
didn't sing?
badly. Yep.
You're taking me out of a job.
Yeah.
If I think back to primary school, we didn't really do plays. We did and we didn't, but all mine ended up with me taking the hump. Like, Mommy would have said, "Did you ever hear of Whoopsie Daisy Angel?"
No.
It's like a wee show that kids would have done in P2, P1
Right.
for the Christmas play. And I wanted to be Whoopsie Daisy Angel, and I wasn't Whoopsie Daisy Angel. And I sat with like a big thick head in me in the back, like staring at her, and Mum and all were like, "Oh my God, lighten up." And then my sister was the same. She wanted to be, or she was Mary. We know
Right.
who Mary is, don't we? She was Mary, and when she came on, everyone was like,
Jesus, man.
"Aww," and she got baby Jesus and flung him off the stage, and Mum and all were like, "Jesus Christ, the daughters are not doing us any favours here."
Has your sister been on stage since?
No, she has zero. And she
God.
would have me and her are so different in our interests.
Right.
But she was the opposite, though. She was always real confident in everything growing up, and but now she's a right bit older than me. But yeah, no, she hasn't been on stage since that, and we remind her of it very regularly. And my brother was a chef in his, and now he is a chef. And there's a wee photo of him, like golden boy type stuff, sitting up in the house with the wee chef hat on. Everyone's like, "Oh, look at him now."
So the role he got in the play, he went on to be.
Yeah, and
So
like
if he
this
had
one,
done
he's like
it-
7, like.
Imagine he had done the Oliver and been the Artful Dodger. He would
Yeah.
just have a gang of children doing
Yeah.
work for him now.
Yeah, or imagine if Keira was the Virgin Mary.
That's the Mary you're talking about. I actually
Yes.
didn't know when you
Yeah.
said. So what would you like to do now? Like what kind of show? Say RTE or BBC, they come to you with a big briefcase of money and they say, "What do you want to make?"
I was chatting with a few people, and not say who, and they were basically on about like if you were to do your own show or have your own pilot show, what would you do?
Airplanes.
So or aviation. I was like, oh right, okay. So it was only a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, take a few months now to really think it out. So
I hate that.
But then I'm
Tell
not. But then you don't know.
Now you do know. That's like the browsing. You know what show you want to make. You must do.
I know a show I want to write. I want to write a show. Like that would be the ultimate dream, to write a show and then to be part of a show would be class, because I have a concept in my head and I've had it in my head for ages, and I'm like, how to put that to paper and to actually go with it. He was like, "Have you a 5-year plan?" I was like, "That would be the 5-year." He was all like facts and figures, this man.
See, that's why you have the right approach. See, if someone came to me and went, "Why don't you make a TV show? Take a few months to think about it," I'd say, "Let's make it today," and I get into like totally wrong genre for me.
But then it's worked out for you.
No, I mean if that does, if TV come calling, I'll end up doing like a documentary about spice bags and talent, which actually would be all right.
I think that would
Can I be in the
actually
show
sell.
that you're
Yeah, of course
making?
you can.
What can I
Because
do
one of
in
them
it?
one of the ideas I had, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but on the spot I literally went, as he was like, "And then you might come up with your own show," and I was like, "Kayleigh Camellia," and he was like, "What?" And I literally was just like, Kayleigh goes to a different town. So I was thinking, Kayleigh goes to Belfast and becomes like, I don't know if it's like, it becomes like a smick, or like goes to Derry and becomes a Derry girl and has to go into the local pub then at the end of the week and and try and convince the locals that she is from there.
So you would like go to Hollywood and become refined.
Become.
It's a different
Become.
level. It's a different level here.
I was like, but even like go to the
Yes.
most culty area in Kerry and meet people from there, live with them for a week and learn all about it, learn all about everything I need to know, get the accent, because that would be the acting part of things coming in, and then go into some old man's pub in Kerry someday and convince the locals
That's
that
great.
I am one of them.
That's
I
great.
go to do the same in South Dublin, like, "Oh my God," like, "Oh," like just become a D4, wear a pair of Uggs.
I'm
blow
actually
dry.
pitching some of the BBC Northern Ireland where I do that exact thing.
Oh right.
It's called Shane
Don't cut this.
accents.
You got this that I said it first, yeah. So that was one of them because I was like, I'd love to incorporate like acting into it, like playing a role, pretending to be something I'm not. I love that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Look, he said come up with 5 ideas, and we'll come up with 5 and we'll narrow it down to 2. So that's one.
There's nothing funnier to me than like doing accents, especially when you're younger. When you could nail, nothing would make your classmates pop off more than when you could do somebody's voice.
Yeah.
I remember we had a teacher and I could do a great impression of him, and people loved it
Because they could relate to it.
because they come to you and they'd be like, "Give us a wee bit of it." And you're like, "I'm not doing it today." I
Yeah.
don't always do it. I'd be like, "I'm not doing it today," and I build it up and see by about 2 p.m. I go, "Guys, gather around,"
Yeah.
and I
yeah.
deliver it and
Yeah.
just floor the place.
That was me on buses to discos. I'd be at the back, middle of the back row, and they'd all be like, Kayleigh, and do blah, and I'd like, shush now, children.
So see the way you would for that show for talk's sake, you would go to Kerry and try and do the accent and convince people you're from there or Belfast. Would you consider going to like say like Vietnam for talk's sake? And
Listen, I wouldn't rule it out if they were supplying the flights. I said, well, like it's not quite Vietnam, but I was like London and stuff like that. I'd love to do as well.
London's, you're like, it's not quite Vietnam. It's a bit
Not far
Vietnam, but it's
off.
not quite.
Yeah. So I'd love to, and because I love challenges. So that was one of them because I love accents, as not so much impressions as well. I'm kind of working on that at the minute because like I remember even I did some impression of my story. I don't know what it was, and not Rory. What do you call him? Connor Sketch has gone on to me. He's like, "Oh, very good. You'll have me out of a job." And I was like, "No." And he was like,
What way do you think he said? Do you think he went, "You have me out of a job," or do you think you'll have me out of a job?
No, he's been class because when I had very little following, he wrote to me and he was like, "This is great to see. I'm loving this stuff." And he was always really lovely and always said if I ever needed anything. So I think he meant it in a nice way.
Yeah.
But he just goes, actually, he said, I said you should, because he was like brilliant, and I said you should see my Jose Mourinho, and I was only joking, like I can't do Jose Mourinho for the life of me, and he was like, "We'll just leave the golfers to me." I was like, "Dad, I need to go on Rory McIlroy now." But yes, that's one thing, because the problem with lip syncing is, and you've seen it just there, I can't just do a lip sync on the spot. Like if I'm on TV, I have to have something pre-prepared, or if I'm in a podcast.
Right.
Whereas he could just like do Rory McIlroy and he'd just do
Yes.
it. So I'm always like, oh, I'm quite restricted that way. So I'd love to be able to knock out a few impressions just to have a bit of variety.
Yeah, because that was when you could do an impression. There's so much power in that.
Yeah,
People love it.
they love it.
There's just nothing funnier than when you can do a good impression. Like I love stand up, obviously, but when I watch an impersonator, I'm like, how, like,
Because
that
they literally
blows my
sound
mind.
like the person. Yeah, I know, it's mad.
Was there like a share back in the day or anything on Instagram or anything like that you love, like someone sharing to their story, or
Well,
somebody
like
well known?
Joanne and Vogue. Joanne actually put it on her as a reel on her own page, and that was huge. I actually didn't realize the power of sharing and stuff. Like, you know, the way people would be like, invite you as a collaborator or whatever like
Yes.
that. I would always be like, oh yeah, whatever. But now I'm like, oh, it actually is great for both. Like,
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
want it. So hers was very good, and God, I'm trying to think of like Louis. Obviously, that was another big one. Actually, Peter Crouch and Abby Clancy mentioned me in their podcast, and it was nice. Like different
Class.
things like that are really nice that you'd never in a million years think
Yeah.
would happen. But I always just like to know, I suppose with the Nadine Kyle thing, I never found out, but I always make sure that I didn't offend them.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
like to know that, but no, Nadine still hasn't.
I got a tweet once from Nick Knowles,
I don't know who that is. Should I know who Nick Knowles
DIY, BBC
is? With the no.
head.
Yes.
Yeah.
With big hair? No. What colour? Grey? Brown?
Yeah, brown, dark brown. Nick
Right.
Knowles.
Was he offended?
No, he loved it.
Oh.
I did. A
Jedward and Nick Knowles.
I told this in the podcast before. I did a show on BBC, stand-up show on BBC Network. Big deal over lockdown. And I was like, this is it. One celebrity tweet. Nick Knowles was like, love it, man. Blew
That's
my
enough.
mind. Yeah, I remember getting a share back in the day, and this was when you put out a video on Twitter and you directly send it publicly though to loads of people. Could I get a retweet on this? So you were doing it to like 20,
you
30
weren't doing
people.
that,
It was
Shane.
so normal back then. Like, for some reason, it was like nobody. You wouldn't do that now.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, everyone who did a video like that, can you retweet, sent it to loads of people. And Jamie Dornan is from
Oh.
Hollywood.
Is
And
he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, now I like Hollywood.
Dornan, McElroy, Todd. Rory McIlroy's from here
Who's
too.
Todd?
Hmm?
Who's Todd? Hee hee.
The three, the three amigos they call us. Like,
You've
but
got
yeah.
your Toddsters and your Shane
the
Evaders.
McElroyers and Dornan, Ed.
She's go out
Um,
golfing together, the threes.
Go golfing together.
Mm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. I could count. The amount of times the three of us have had gone away on a trip. I could count with one hand. No hands. That's it. But Jamie Dornan gave me a retweet way back in the day before I became close personal friends with him, and that I remember that was so class.
That is a big one.
It was a sketch, and he tweeted it out.
There's some random ones. I have some actors from Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that Vikings show.
Oh yeah,
Or no, is it Vikings
Ragnar
Valhalla?
Lothbrok. Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
No, Vikings Valhalla. The main guy in it who is absolutely unreal looking. Sorry, Niall, but he is. He followed me one day.
Why
and I
will
was
Niall
like,
Horan be offended?
oh yeah, Niall Horan. Me and Niall Horan. We're like this.
I'd love to
I
meet
actually
him.
golf with Niall Horan all the time.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah, he seems sound.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to do a clip of him. He does like this skincare routine clip. It's so boring, but because of who he is, it's like, oh my god.
He's doing it for real.
Yeah, he does the whole skincare, and at the end he just be like, buy my latest album, and I'm like, oh, you dug deep in that one, like, isn't it just everything for an ad? But no, not Niall Horan, but this fella from this Netflix show would follow me, and I was like, oh my god, and Niall was like, you're awfully excited about that, like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep him on his toes, you know.
Vogue. I think Vogue Williams hates me.
What
Can I
have
tell
you
you why?
done? Twitter isn't kind of Vogue, and you're a big Twitter man, aren't you?
It's like, yeah.
I'm on Vogue's side here now. You're gonna be in trouble.
Well, hear me out. So me and Vogue go way back. We did a Christmas campaign for Coca-Cola many years ago. Now, at this point, this is like 10 years ago maybe. So I get asked to do it. They go, we want an ambassador from the north and for the south. I get to drive up Dublin, do it, and we have to do this photo call with the mayor of Dublin, me and Vogue. Dan, I will send you this. Some people are brilliant at when a photographer says something, just go, fuck it, no worries, whatever you need, I can do it. I can be a bit socially awkward about especially posing in a certain way for photos, right? Don't know why, just get weird about it. They had artificial snowballs, and the photographer's like, guys, pretend to have a snowball fight. And I was like, I could have a snowball fight, no problem, with real snow, I could do that. But I would struggle to pretend to have a snowball fight. He goes, just do it. For some reason, I bought this leather jacket. I do not suit leather jackets. I'm wearing a leather jacket, standing in a car park in Dublin, and Vogue's there, and she's killing it. She obviously knows how to pose for photos. Killing it. The mayor of Dublin, he's killing it. Me, snowball in my hand. Not killing it, feeling really weird. No one knows who I am. She's even at this point kind of well known. I'm just this guy that's doing it, right? Part of the video is they want me to Vogue's driving around Dublin picking people up, and you're trying to make Vogue laugh. I do it. She has no idea who I am, obviously, right? Fuck off.
Oh, here we go. That's not you, is it?
That's me. I don't know why my
Is that
face
you?
looks like that. Yeah, I'm the one in the green. Have you got the video or just a still image? Right. That's how. Look how awkward I am. There was a director lying in the back seat on the footwell telling us what to do. So what he does is he goes, "You're going to get in the car with Vogue. Just make her laugh."
Oh God.
There's nothing more
pressure.
daunting than hearing. Just that's like saying to you, lip sync something.
Go off you go.
You want to have a think about it, but I don't know Vogue, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So I decide, he goes, do a bit of material from your act. I had a bit of material time about getting a colonoscopy. I went, I'll tell her that. See, off stage, stand-up's mental, and it sounds weird. So Vogue picks me up, And if she had known me beforehand, it would have been grand. But she's picking all these. So I'm just a random person during this. So I get in. She's like, "What's crack?" I go, "Yeah, I just got a colonoscopy there." Telling the story off stage, it's not funny. We drive for like 20 minutes of me telling this story, and she's like being really pleasant and like fake laughing at bits, and then the director's just a silence, and he's like, "I think that's enough." So that's the first time I met her.
She was a wee bit frosty with you, was she?
You got it.
I get it.
You've got it now. So a couple of months ago, I get asked would I be an ambassador for Heineken for a thing for the rugby fucking.
So was I actually.
Look! Oh no! No!
Oh my god!
Kayleigh, look at the way I'm standing. Look at my left arm.
Watch, it's the shoes.
I look like the Terminator's son. Why am I wearing that jacket? Dan, go down to the shoes,
There was
please.
Dax used
Look,
then.
look. Ah! Formal shoes. Formal shoes, jeans, and go back up. Why does my left arm look artificial? And then look, oh my god, look the way I'm holding the snowball.
The snowball looks so fake. It couldn't even look any fake.
Everyone else, look at Vogue.
Look at Vogue, she's laughing.
Pro. That's a pro.
It's a summer's day as well, which is the worst part.
It's a summer's day. I've. Why am I wearing that leather jacket? I don't have the confidence to carry it off. Oh my god, go back down to the shoes. Killing it. Nice outfit.
Boom.
Weird librarian.
Desert boot shoes or something.
So a couple of months ago, be a brand ambassador for Heineken.
Yeah.
It's me, Vogue, and this guy, Paul Olima. I follow him. He's a fitness influencer, black guy from Dublin, sexiest man I've ever seen in my life. Used to play professional rugby.
It's a good mix.
So they go, we want to do a photo call in Dublin, right outside the Aviva. I say, yep, I'm up for it. They went, it's 10 a.m. Would 10 a.m. be okay? So they haven't said it's 10 a.m. They go, would 10 a.m. be okay? The PR agency. I say through my intermediaries, I'll be dropping the kids off for childcare. It's probably going to be 10:30. The closest I can get there is probably 10:30. My wife is working. They say, no problem.
Just emphasize, they say, no problem.
I say, I can get there. It'll probably be about 10:30. No problem. I'm near the place. It's 10:26. I get a phone call. Are you near? That's the worst phone call ever to receive. I go, I'm parking up. They had been there from 10 on the dot, waiting for this photo. The only thing they need is me to be part of it. When I get there, Vogue and this guy Paul are based in London, I think. They were waiting to go to the airport. The photographer was waiting. Everybody was waiting. But I'm thinking, well, they know I said 10:30. I'm actually here a few minutes before that. It was, talk about frosty with the snowballs. It was frosty. I go, oh guys, I'm so sorry. And the photographer's like, yeah, we've all been waiting for you. So seeing the photos, I also used to do this character and still do, called Mike McGoldrick, a rugby character, middle class, posh guy. I'm posing like him in the photos because I think that's what they want me to do. In like that last round of photos, they're like, everyone already hates me. Like, why are you doing that with your face? I was like, oh, I'm just this. They're like,
trying too
just
hard.
be you. I was like, I thought I'm the character. They went, no, you're being you. I was like, shit. Then everyone's making awkward banter at the end of it, and one of the guys is like, the guy based in Dublin is the one that said. I was like, I drove from Belfast. I already said, and they're all Vogue and that guy were really dead on about it, but it was just I'd inconvenienced everyone, and it wasn't my fault, and I felt so bad. So I think she hates me.
So you have 2 occasions. Do you know what? I'll put in a good word, Shane. Don't worry.
I think the first time my performance was that forgettable, she wouldn't have remembered me.
Yeah.
And I think the second time she'd be like, this guy just held out. Who does this guy swanning in?
So the second time she didn't go like, oh, hello, Shane's long time. No.
No, I think
No,
she'd blacked that out.
Okay.
And I've actually had a colonoscopy since, so I could have been like,
story
"Vogue, you're not going to
to
believe this." I've had it again. Let's take 20 minutes where I can intensely just sit beside you and
She's
tell
like,
you
I'm for
about
the
my
airport.
arse.
I'm
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
airport, Shane.
Yeah.
No time for it.
So you're saying the show you would like to do is that? I think that's a great idea for a show.
I don't know. Look,
I think it's a
I
brilliant idea for a show.
I think like I said, I don't want to do like anything too serious, something lighthearted when you can get the bit of the acting in as well. Because I do like the impressions, I do like the accents, so why not try and And then like I did the Dublin one, the Dublin Monaghan video the other day, and I was like, my Dublin accent is bang on. Like that is, yeah, no way. And I would never post anything if I wasn't 100%. And then next thing the Dub's like, oh, you went scouse there in the middle of it.
Ah, right.
And I was like, okay, there's always work to be done. There's
What,
always work to be
what
done.
about this for Dublin, actually? You alright?
You alright? I don't know why I keep curling my tongue. How are you?
What did you think of mine?
That's good, yeah.
You
Do you have
alright?
is that your word?
I don't do anything else.
Because like I find Nicola Coughlin, who was one on the Dairy Girls,
Yeah.
she would have said anytime she needed to zone into dairy, she would have been like 15 to 685, you know, from the passport. And I was like, for me, when it's Belfast now, I literally just go Bran, and I'm there.
Paddy McDonald's Brian.
Bran. Oh, that's what I say.
What's the story?
It's a starry. Oi. But then you have two accents in Dublin at least.
Oh, okay.
So you could be like, how are you going? 2 Toblerones for a £5.
Was that a deal? I don't know whether that's a great deal or a massive rip-off.
That's Henry Street, yeah.
We used to have 5 litres for a pound in Belfast.
Five
litres for a
litres?
pound. Yeah. 5 litres for a pound. Cornmarket, 5 litres for a pound.
For a pound.
5 litres for a pound. I love that guy. Huge part of my childhood. Sadly, no longer with us.
May you rest in peace.
Yeah.
And then you've got the poshies. Can you do the poshie dub?
I don't know the accent well enough. Like that.
Or, but then,
Great to see you, man.
oh my gosh.
Mine was so bad.
You have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Do you have oat milk in that?
Out.
Oat milk.
I think I could get it after a while. I'd love to show you some of my auditions where you see me try and do a Derry accent. Jesus Christ.
It's different. I did a Derry accent for one of the plays I was in. I tried to channel Aunt Sarah. It was like, it's like, oh, the Waynes. Oh, look. And like she'd be like,
It's better than mine, by the way.
is it?
Yeah.
But Derry's so close to you. Do you not think? And then you've got like up Nor Antrim. It's almost Scottish, isn't it?
Or fully Scottish.
Do you not see that boy though? He'd be like, hello there, loves. And he's like, what's the rat we is? No? No. Okay.
What guy?
Just the guy off TikTok, you're asleep.
Yeah, true.
You're not scrolling.
That's why I can't get on the algorithm. Because I just can't post at that time of night. I mean, look, people know your social media will post it. It's not like you need more traction for that. It's already
Jeez,
popping
they'll never
off.
say no.
But yeah, anything else you want to plug or anything? Monaghan in general.
Monaghan, come to Monaghan. My house is a B&B. You can stay in
Your
the
house
gaff.
is a B&B?
Yeah, well it was, but the rooms are still there. Like,
Did you live in Otis B&B?
yeah. Oh, it was a
How
nightmare.
weird is that? Is it not the?
Nightmare.
But then there's just people in your
Yeah,
house.
people in your house, and you
What
have
was
to be
the
friends with
creepiest
all
thing
of
that
them.
ever happened? Be honest. What was?
Oh,
the
there's a
scariest?
mad story.
Yeah.
There's a mad story. So I'll actually tell you a bit of background for this as well. My cousin used to always say she was going to sleep over in the house, and then when it would come to 10, 11 o'clock, she'd chicken out and be like, I need to go home, and we'd always like, oh, right, let's drop Deirdre home. She lived like 20 minutes away, and right, whatever. And then this one night it was like, Deirdre, we're gonna see this through. Like, she is staying, like she is following through on this. And we were brushing the teeth, and I was looking at her, I was like, oh. So we got into bed. Next thing, 12 o'clock, I think there was a knock on the door, and Dad was like, if there was anything that late, Dad would never actually open the door. He'd just like go out to the front window and be like, you all right? You all right? And the guy was like, can I have a room? And Dad was like, sorry, we're fully booked. We weren't, but it was a bit odd that time of the night, and poor wee Deirdre's in bed. And that was grand. Woke up the next morning, Dad did now, he was up first, and there was blood on the carpet into the room next to mine, which was one of the B&B rooms. And Dad just opened the door, and a man just came flying out covered in blood and just ran out the front door, and Dad never tried to stop him or anything or whatever. And the guards then called the house a couple of hours later. So Deirdre, we were obviously traumatised for Deirdre.
Jesus Christ. I feel so bad for Deirdre. You're like, it'll be fine. It's just a sleepover. Stop being weird.
I should just be like, it was a dream, Deirdre. You're just imagining it. But then, yeah, a couple of hours later, the guards called to the house. There was a fella in the back seat, and the guard was like, can you identify him? And Dad said, yeah.
The red guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, this wasn't. So this is two different guys. So the guy in the back seat had been the man who called the house for the room.
Okay.
And he had stabbed the other fella. and the other fella came to the house to hide in like the walk-in wardrobe type closet we had. So the first fella came because he was on the run from stabbing your man. And he was all panicky, let me stay. We said no, he went on his way. Then the second man didn't even knock or anything, just came straight through the door because we had a B&B, the door would be open because we'd have to let people in and out. Do you know what I mean? Which is a bit of a weird one too, I suppose. But anyway.
But lock it.
Yeah, but then I suppose they had keys. I don't know how he got in. I think it was just open.
Can I say your dad kind of invited this to happen?
I need to clarify that part of the story. I don't know how he got in. But he got in.
Probably the open front door.
That might have something
It's
to
a
do with it.
literal open door policy at your B&B.
Monaghan, nothing happens in Monaghan, Shane. Nothing.
Apart from this.
Yeah, and then and then your boy, the second boy, ran out then, and they were both arrested. One stabbed the other. And we always said
Why
like,
did the other guy get arrested for getting stabbed?
Well, I don't know if he was arrested. He's probably taken to hospital actually because he wasn't in the back of the car. Now you say it. And my sister was at a party a couple of houses down that night, and a brick went through their window too. So I think in Monaghan anyway, I knew that the Polish and the Lithuanian they didn't like get on, and I think one of them was Polish and one of them was Lithuanian, and they were having it out. Which that is a bit of that qualifies a mad story.
Deirdre.
Poor Deirdre. I think she's still not well.
No.
No.
She's never stayed
Never.
anywhere.
No.
You want to come back to my place? She's like, absolutely not.
Let me tell you a story. I'll tell you a good one. But yeah, no, B&B, there was good stories.
Can I ask you this as a final question? What was the breakfast? Talk me through. If we said, what's your dad called? Can you say?
Seamus
Say
and
it.
Angela, they're some dynamic duo for the brekkie.
What breakfast are they laying on as a standard cooked breakfast?
I
And I'm starving,
gotta
by the
give
way.
it to them. They are class. Now there was no gluten-free options at the time. Just this is we've closed it now about 8 years, so we
Right.
didn't really hit that time. You know,
Okay.
that bougie. It's only a trend. Like you're,
Yeah.
yeah. So what would
Nothing
happen?
trendier than this Crohn's disease.
Oh God! Cut that!
I love doing that to people.
And I'm like, what was it? Was there a final question? No, Dad was the hospitality man. So, and then it was me, like me and Dad. Dad would always be like,
He
getting
sounds like
me
a Marvel
involved. He'd be like,
superhero.
take me in. Yeah, he'd be like, he'd just be chatting away to them all, taking the orders. Did you ever see like Four in a Bed? It is literally like that.
No.
And Mom would do the full brekkie then.
But is there like, what's this?
There's a continental.
Right, but what's the cooked breakfast? Talk me through.
Cooked breakfast.
If I just say, I'll have a cooked breakfast, please.
See, it's different up here, isn't it? Like we wouldn't be at that. What's that bread you have up here? Soda bread and all? Nah, none of that. Wheaten.
Nothing
it'd be
wrong
like,
with wheaten.
Do you know that we
I like wheaten.
triangles of bread?
Yeah.
And then wheaten, so you get a load of that. Coffee brewed with the the yolk that goes down.
Cafetiere?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
That, and then load of, like prunes and all that kind of stuff, like oranges and.
Kayleigh, get to the.
Sorry.
Give me the.
Do you remember I told you I
the
can't
meat.
make decisions and
Yeah.
I'm not direct? This is what I mean.
Give me the meat and bread.
The meat, right. The breakfast would have been 2 bacon, 2 sausage, 2 pudding. I'm talking like I'm in that patchwork thing. Two bacon, 2 sausage,
Pork?
1 black. 10 years ago now, there was no such thing as chicken sausage then.
Or beef.
Is there beef sausages? No, pork.
Right.
But good ones, Malins. There's a plug for you, Malins. They're the best ones. They're Monaghan and Company. Anyway, sausages, eggs, whatever way you like them. And she's very, with the times. And I know the way I'm trying to sell this is if they still own the B&B as well. It's not even still about black and white pudding, and it was always Kelly's. If you ever had Kelly's black and white pudding, I don't like pudding, but it's that good one. They would, in fairness, they would always have the good produce
Any baked beans?
as an option
I
on
like
the
it.
side.
Now, I've never had black.
Tomato, because you need citrus or something, don't you? Or like acidic. What's the
That's a
rationale
religion.
behind the tomato? There is a reason. They say it's all like wash it down with the tomato. I don't know.
Now, let me ask you this. I've never had black pudding because I found out what it was.
Yeah, I've never.
It's a blood cake.
Yeah, pig's blood, isn't it?
Doesn't matter what it is. What would
But then I think white pudding is nearly worse. I think white's all the leftovers. Oh, the what?
Sperm.
Oh. Just say no to both.
It's pig sperm and a cake. Speaking of that, I'm starving. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your first podcast.
Woo!
And first time in Hollywood. I'm going to go for lunch in Joxer in Hollywood. You'll love this. You'll love this.
Do they gluten free?
For me, they do. Genuinely, I have a special ordering system. Yeah. Thanks a million for coming on. I'm a big fan of what you do. I think you're great. I think that's a great idea for a TV show.
Good. Thank
And
you.
here's what we should do. I'll work BBC, you work RTE, and we'll do a co-production and we'll get all the money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. Who's on Channel 4? We need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big briefcase of money.
Yeah. They'll want us.
And we'll
We
do.
won't even have to pitch
We're
it.
really lazy. We'll just do impressions
Yeah.
of like people we used to go to school with. No one will know who they are.
Yeah.
But it'll be great.
I know the first episode's gonna. I'm here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I'm
Guys,
going
follow
to become
me.
a
I'm up in
local.
Hollywood for the day. I can upload this because of free Wi-Fi. I'm gonna get a fry now. I wasn't going to, but I will. Thank you very much for coming on. Thanks for watching and listening. Cheers.